Hi everyone, my name's Pieta Valentine. I've written 2 books, The Resident's Voice from a Dementia Unit and The Resident's Rise from a Dementia Unit. So today's video is on the 3 main transfers in a dementia unit. Very important. You need to be independent with these particular transfers in order to stay in the first level care D3 dementia facilities. D3 may be called another name in other countries, but here in New Zealand it's D3. Okay, so the 3 transfers are sitting to standing from the chair, sitting to standing from the toilet, and lying to sitting to standing from the bed. So we'll go through sitting to standing from the chair. Now, if you're fit and able, of course you'll think, well, what's the big deal? Anyone can get out of a chair. But actually it gets more and more difficult as you get older, particularly because the quadriceps muscle, excuse me, at the front of the thigh weakens remarkably from the age of 60 onwards, a few % a year if you're not exercising them. So by the time you get to, mid 80s or 90s, that muscle is not strong, and it needs to be strong to get out of the chair. So to compensate for that, as a relative, what you need to do is to make sure that the chair is suitable for your parent. So it needs to be of a good height so that they can get out of it easily, not too high for a short person and not too low for a tall person. Make sure they can get out of it easily, that it's got good armrests, and of course that it's comfortable. If it's not the right height, you can put blocks underneath the chair legs, but that's not actually so stable probably, or a couple of cushions for, padded wedged foam. Actually, cushions don't really work, they're unstable. Padded, a good fitting foam squab would be okay. But if that doesn't work really, you need to buy another chair that's suitable. Some units supply chairs, but they're often, stock standard, straight back, uncomfortable, suitable more for 6-foot men than little old ladies in the room. So in the lounge, often they have comfortable, suitable chairs, but in the rooms, not so generally. So you need to get that chair sorted. Okay, so now in terms of sitting to standing, you can actually help your mother or parent a lot with this, because the thing is, what happens is when you start losing mobility, when you start losing strength, it's awkward. Often parents put their hands on the sides of the chair and then sort of try and push themselves up, straight up, vertically, to get out of the chair. Well, that's not activating quadriceps, and it's a really awkward maneuver. You actually have to lean forward, push your arms into the side of the chair, and then stand up, and that's the easiest way, and works with gravity and momentum. So you can practice this with your mother a few times, physiotherapy wise. Just be the quasi physiotherapist for 5-10 minutes and say, look, Mum, you're having difficulty getting out of the chair. We're going to have a few exercises this morning so that you can practice it, because this way you'll be able to, stay in the unit where you've got your friends and you like it in your room here, and you can keep your legs strong, and you can, remain independent. And your mother will, yes, dear, yes, that's a good idea. She'll hopefully agree. So all you need to do is have your mother sitting in the chair, ask her to lean forward, and then as she stands up, ask her to push her hands into the sides of the chair. Now push, Mum, push. You guide her back. So that she leans forward. And now, Mum, push forward. Use your legs, push forward. Push into your feet and up. And then you just guide her with your palm at the base of her hand. And do that a few times so she gets into the rhythm of it. And she gets some, subconscious memory bank going on, cognition. So that that will help her. Otherwise, if she's got no guidance with this, she's just sort of struggling away, and it's, stressful. Now, the exercise classes at dementia facilities are helpful because they are geared for, stretching and more stretching probably than strengthening, but they do have quadriceps exercises in the class where you lift your foot and straighten your knee, etc. So get your mother to attend those classes as well. It's not very vigorous, but it's helpful. You know, it keeps the joints moving, keeps the legs reasonably strong. And if she can, often they're twice a day, so if she can attend those exercises as well as your little, you know, practice exercise routine that you're doing with her, with sitting to standing, that would be a great help. Now, in terms of sitting to standing from the toilet seat, of course, toilet seats don't have arms and they're not that comfortable, and they're often lower down, more difficult to get out of than a chair. So what you can get if your mother's having difficulty with that is a raised toilet seat. They're often used for people, elderly people, when they've had hip fractures, and you know, that helps with elevating the seat so that they don't have to flex the hip, which is important after a total hip replacement. But this same equipment can be used for elderly people finding it difficult to get out of a chair. So you can request it either from the charge nurse and find out where you can get one, either from the hospital, or, you know, look around, search around, or maybe the doctor. That's probably the first place to start, and he'll have facilities for being able to show you where to go for that. Okay, now the next transfer is lying to standing, an even more difficult transfer. We all know that when we've got a sore back, trying to get out of bed is not easy. So for an elderly lady who's been immobile most of the day and immobile most of the night in bed, except when she has to get up for the toilet, you know, and if she has a bad back or a bad shoulder or something else that's compromising, it's actually quite a difficult maneuver, because firstly you've got to sit up from lying, and that takes abdominal strength. And in the exercise classes, they're not doing abdominal strength, or in the day either. So it takes quite a bit, you know, to be able to manage that, and then roll over onto your side, half pie, feet over the side, push into the arm. You can also practice that transfer with your mother as well. You know, come on, mum, we just have to practice this bed. You know, you getting out of bed, you're finding it difficult. We'll find a way that's easier for you. And you can come up with different ways, but generally, if she can turn onto her side a bit, put her feet over the side so they act as a bit of a weight, push into the arm, and you just take her other arm at the shoulder where it's safer, and just hand at her back, and just lift her forward so that she can get the momentum movement. Do that a few times, and then get her to do it by herself to see that she can do it independently, because staff haven't got time to do all of this. You know, they're just so flat out when they come in to shower and change a resident, and they haven't, you know, the more able the resident is, the easier it is for everyone. And, you know, being independent, everyone likes to be independent if you possibly can be. So these are the main transfers for your parent and how you can help. And so when you come for a visit, I know in these videos there's so many things to do, but, you know, you can sort of share it out amidst the siblings and the grandchildren. Some of the grandchildren might not mind that. They might be training in physiotherapy anyway, or phys ed teaching or something, and they can help Granny with the transfers. So you can sort of, the power of attorney can dish out, or whoever is interested can dish out the jobs, so Granny has an interesting, you know, time, quality filled time when she's with you, learning all these skills, these essential skills. So that's the end of the video today for the 3 essential transfers: sitting to standing from the chair, sitting to standing from the toilet, and lying to standing from the bed. If your mother can remain independent with these 3 transfers, and of course her walking, which I'll do in the next video, then she'll be able to stay at the lower level dementia facility, which is really the best for all concerned. So thank you for your interest. Thank you for your likes and your subscribing, and I appreciate all of it. And hopefully, if you are watching these videos, please subscribe and support this channel. That would be a great help. Thank you.